This is the Transfer Cabinet Member Decision Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience in waiting today. And can I welcome everybody to this meeting of the Cabinet Member for Place and Local Plan Decision Day, taking place from the Walton Suite. The time is now 9:53. My name is Councillor Jackie Porter. I'm Chairperson and Cabinet Member for Place and the Local Plan. And the meeting is being live streamed and recorded to the Council's YouTube channel. Subtitles are available, and if you need those, the advice on how to do that is turn that on is on our website. If you're joining us online, please could you turn your camera and microphone off until your item, and can everybody else ensure that mobile phones are on silent? In the unlikely event it's necessary to evacuate the building, the fire alarm will sound and we'll follow the instructions given to you by your team and go out that way. Please can I welcome members of the public to the meeting as well, and to local councillors from the Parish Council. I'll invite you forward when it's time to make your contribution. Thank you again for coming. So the decision today that we're aiming to take is that the draft Littleton Village Design Statement be amended and set out as adopted, as set out as Appendix 1 of the report, and the revised statement as Appendix 2 be adopted as a supplementary planning document. And that the 2010 Littleton Village Design Statement be revoked as an SPD following the adoption of the 2023 version. And it's a credit, I may say, that Littleton has tackled revising it. It's very good to see this. The Strategic Planning Manager is granted delegated authority to make minor factual corrections and editing in consultation with the Cabinet Member for Place in the Local Plan to finalise the planning guidance in the revised Littleton Village Design Statement prior to publication on the Council's website. So that's the decision we're hoping to take today. And I'd just like to ask Mr. Obercheck if he'd like to make any comments to that. Thank you.
Just a brief introduction, Chairman. The Littleton Village Design Statement was first produced in 2000, and Littleton have been very good at actually keeping it up to date. So this is the second revision to it. That went out for public consultation earlier this year, and there were a small number of comments on the document, mostly concerned with detail, but one significant one from the Defence Infrastructure Organisation. Appendix 1 of the report summarises all the comments and the recommended changes as a result. And Appendix 2 is the Village Design Statement amended with those changes and as recommended to be adopted. Just briefly on the comments from the Defence Infrastructure Organisation, or DIO, you'll be aware that our emerging local plan proposes to allocate the Sir John Moore Barracks for development. That isn't something that is in the current local plan, and the Village Design Statement conforms to the current local plan. So the DIO were raising a concern about a possible conflict and the Village Design Statement becoming out of date, and their preference was to either delay the Village Design Statement or leave the barracks area out of it. We have just discussed that with both the DIO and the Parish Council as the authors of the design statement. And we're not recommending that the barracks be excluded from the design statement. We think it's appropriate that that should go forward. The local plan, the new local plan, is at a very early stage. Unfortunately, the programme for that has slipped slightly, whereas we are in a position now to adopt the design statement. So we recommend that's what you do. Other than that, there were various comments of detail made on the text of the document, and we've come up with some recommended changes that try and strike a compromise between what the DIO was wanting and what the Parish Council would accept, which is probably not entirely what either side want, but we feel we've tried to make that a fair compromise and as factual as possible. So basically, Chair, we recommend those changes to you.
Thank you, and I'm sure that's going to come up in the conversations that we're going to have now. Would you like to come forward to speak? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
I think Steve has actually said.
Can I ask you just a favour? Could you just move your microphone just slightly closer? That's it. That's lovely.
Is that better? Okay. Really, it's sort of summarised very well as to what the situation is. A little bit of the background is that in light of the district plan, the Parish Council decided that we visit our old village design statement because it's you know, well over 10 years, 10, 12 years old. And we felt that it needed updating to bring it in line and to make it more easier to integrate into the district plan. And also with the proposed development of the Sir John Moore Barracks, we felt that we needed some guidelines in place to to be able to have a meaningful discussion with them. Littleton is a village. It has its own style. It has many different types of housing. It has a conservation area. There's a modern development area. And we felt that it is a village and we wanted to stay that way. We needed to have some guidelines to maintain that. But at the same time, we acknowledge that the Sir John Moore Barracks development will be a modern development in whatever form they choose to make it. We felt that with the village design statement in place, it would be a lot easier to integrate the two together and to make it more acceptable to the public and to a more pleasing place to live. We're still yet to see the master plan, as you know. As you may know, we asked our planning consultant to prepare a brief, which we submitted to the DIO. The brief really just explained what we would like to see as a village and as a parish council within the master plan. We've had no response from them, but we would like to feel that they are taking on board our brief, because we feel that with the brief and the village design statement in place, we'd like to think that when their master plan is produced, there'll be, well, everything will go through fairly smoothly. We don't think, hopefully, we don't want to have any controversy or anything, but if we've made our point, part of it, the village design statement, that's what we'd like. That's much about it. I would like to thank Winchester City Council for adopting, assuming you adopt, our village design statement. I'd also like to thank Steve for his input and for helping us produce it. We didn't always agree with everything that was being said, but we did get there in the end. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Overcheck's kept me in line with what's been going on in those conversations. I completely take your point about the St John Moore Barracks. It's difficult when we haven't seen a master plan or even a concept master plan yet. But it is a very important part of the policy that we set forward for concept master plans, that local residents and local neighbourhoods and local councils should be heard as part of that. And we will ensure that your voices are heard. Would Mr. Godfrey, Councillor Godfrey, you're going to speak.
Thank you very much, and good morning. Welcome, Miss. Autumnal day. Yeah. And delightful to see Mr. Overcheck again, looking ever younger. You obviously have a painting in the attic. Yeah. Village design statements are important in two regards. Firstly, they form an important and detailed part of the local development plan as a supplementary planning document. And secondly, they give residents the opportunity to express what is important to them within the planning policy framework. While Littleton is located close to the boundary of Winchester Town, the care and detail put into the production of this VDS clearly demonstrates the strength of residents' desire to keep and protect Littleton as a rural settlement with a distinct character. The VDS expresses that character very well, and I would seek reassurance that all those involved in the planning process will give due weight to this VDS when determining individual planning applications, when refining the Red 19 version of the emerging local plan review, and when creating the barracks master plan. After 4 years of consultation with residents and other stakeholders, the Parish Council have produced an excellent document that conforms with the NPPF, the current local plan, and the emerging local plan review. This does not happen without a considerable amount of hard work and technical input. So this VDS must be taken seriously. It acknowledges the expected changes in and around the village, particularly with the barracks. It is really important that, once adopted, this VDS is accepted by the Defence Infrastructure Organisation and our own planners as a clear statement of what local residents want to happen in their area, and not be seen as a barrier to achieving the other objectives, which then need to be skirted around or ignored. I hope that this VDS will be accepted as a shared set of goals for all to aim for. Some of the proposed changes to the text of the VDS do seem to support this, particularly the last phrase of the additional opening statement that the barracks master plan will need to maintain the feel and ambience enjoyed by the residents of the existing village. Retaining the settlement identity is the main driver for the VDS, starting with a clear planning guidance A1. This identity, the character of the village, is clearly explained, including all the features, the areas to be protected, and the highly valued views. Tables 2 and 3 and maps 5 and 6 reinforce the explanatory text in the document. The VDS sets out the settlement boundaries that should be respected, including around the conservation area, around the 20th century settlement, and around the developed part of the barracks. Extending outside these boundaries into the settlement gap or into any of the other countryside areas around the village should be resisted vigorously. Protecting and enhancing Littleton's green infrastructure, as defined in Section 8 of the VDS, provides another strong message for planners to note. I'm sure that you will approve and support this VDS for adoption. I ask that you also encourage officers to use the VDS to shape emerging plans and policies that impact the areas in and around Littleton and other similar rural settlements. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's good to hear that you're supporting it, and I also concur with your comment that it takes an awful lot of work. It's not to be underestimated at all. So that's greatly appreciated by and I thank Councillor Biddlecombe for his comments too. The one thing I was going to say is that we can make our planners very mindful of the VDS, but sometimes plans are taken out of our hands and go to appeal, and that often causes frustration when it doesn't necessarily reflect the community's wishes. And I just put that as a little rider. I'm very sorry, but that's out of our control. But in majority of cases, our team here will make a decision, and they will be very mindful of the VDS that exists. And our work has always tried to reflect that in conversations with developers and planners. So that hopefully will be it's very clear for us to do. If you've taken the effort to write the VDS, it's for Winchester City Council to take the effort to be mindful of it. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Overcheck?
Chair, I believe one of your colleagues raised a query about whether some of the introductory text was clear, that the new text that's being added. I don't know if you want me to cover that and recommend that. So on page 24 of the document, the first page of the village design statement, that most of the text on the right hand column is new. And the point was raised that in the second from last paragraph, third line up from the bottom of that paragraph, which ends in it wasn't clear what it was. So
Yes.
what we recommend, it is the village design statement. So it's just to recommend replacing it with the village design statement.
I think that was Councillor Todd when he read it through. He we assumed it's the village design statement, but he quite rightly pointed out that someone reading it from the start would not necessarily know that. Is everybody happy with that? That the word "it" is replaced with the village design statement? Okay, thank you. So then, do you have any comment?
No, I don't, but thank you. But no, that's absolutely fine. I think we've got that noted as well with regards to the change. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, after a considerable amount of work, I'm really pleased to say that we'll be taking this decision today, that the draft Littleton Village Design Statement be amended as set out in Appendix 1 of the report, and the revised statement as Appendix 2 be adopted as a planning document. And obviously we're revoking the 2010 document, and we are actually delegated to make minor factual corrections, but we don't anticipate making any, do we?
Just that what we've made.
Absolutely. So if everybody's happy, then we'll agree that decision. Yeah, happy with that decision? Thank you very much. I made that decision. Thank you. Meeting is now closed.